Lovelies, I am Teri True Crime, and welcome to Midday Missing, where we highlight missing person cases that need more attention. Now, we live stream every Monday and Wednesday at 1 Eastern on our YouTube channel, True Crime and Wine Time, and normally our True Crime and Wine Time Facebook page, but I just got a notification that we did not go live there. So something happened on the back end with StreamYard again. But we are also live on our Kick page and on my Teri True Crime TikTok page. So we are trying to share these stories in as many places as we possibly can. Hello, Angie. Thank you for being here. So, guys, I don't know, but if you didn't know this, if you're watching on YouTube and you haven't yet, please like this video and subscribe. And if you hit the notification bell, you won't miss any of our live episodes or when we drop a new episode. And it's totally free. Totally free. Okay. If you're over on Kick or TikTok, if you could like this page, leave a comment to let us know you're watching. That would be great. Now, if you're listening on a podcast app, please download, leave us a review. It helps others find our show. And if you're watching on the replay crew, be sure to drop us a comment and say hi because we appreciate you as well. Now, guys, if you need more of me and Llama, you can always find us doing something on our True Crime and Wine Time YouTube channel. And if you become a member, we have several levels, with the first starting at just 99 cents. As a channel member, you will get exclusive content, special emojis, happy hours with me and Llama, and much more depending on the level. And guys, I can tell you that March is jam-packed with perks for our members. So it's kind of a great time to check us out and become a member. For example, tonight we are having game night for our lovelies and higher members. And it's going to be a blast because we have some highly competitive members. So you definitely would want to check that out. So today, guys, we are heading over to the great state of Indiana. Okay, Indiana sits in the heart of the Midwest, bordered by Michigan to the north, Ohio to the east, Illinois to the west, and Kentucky to the south. It's covered. Now, it's known as the Hoosier State. It is just home to over 6.8 million residents, and it blends sprawling farmlands with cities like Indianapolis, and they are famous for hosting the Indianapolis 500. But beyond its racing legacy and strong manufacturing roots, Indiana, like every state, focuses the sobering reality of missing person cases. According to national data compiled through the FBI's National Crime Information Center, thousands of missing person reports are filed in Indiana each year, with sadly the majority involving juveniles. And at any given time, several hundred cases remain active across the state. Thankfully, many are resolved within days, but so many are not. And we're going to talk about two of those cases today. Jessica Kinsey was a typical 14-year-old who was in the 7th grade at Union Middle School. The day after celebrating Christmas with her family, Jessica went over to her friend's house to show off her new Christmas presents while her parents worked at the house. Now, she called her mom around 2 p.m. that afternoon to tell her mom, hey, I'm going to stay a couple more hours, hang out, but she promised she would call back at 5 p.m. to let her mom know if she'd be coming home for dinner or staying at her friend's house for dinner. Guys, that was pretty common, at least when I was a teenager. I wanted to see who was serving the better dinner, my mom or my friend's mom. Okay, call me shallow. Food was important to me. When Mary did not hear from her daughter, she called over to the friend's house to find out what her daughter's plans were for dinner, only to be told by the friend's mother that Jessica had been picked up by Jimmy Klein. Her mother was not immediately concerned, as Jimmy, who was 23, was the son of one of her friends. She had known him since she was a child, and her daughter Jessica also knew him, so not a big concern. Sadly, Mary had no way of knowing that the phone call from her daughter that afternoon of December 26, 1995, would be the very last time she would ever speak to her daughter again. Hello, on top. Thank you for joining us. Now, Jimmy never brought Jessica home that day. And when she did not return, her mom called the police and reported her daughter missing. Mary kind of had an uneasy feeling about Jimmy, and she didn't completely trust his intentions with Jessica. And her daughter not returning home heightened that feeling. It was discovered during the investigation that Mark Henderson said he was paid by Jimmy to take him and Jessica to Cloverdale, Indiana. Mark said that while he and Jimmy talked during the drive, that Jessica sat still and quiet in the back seat. Jimmy told him that Jessica was pregnant with his child and that they were heading to Niagara Falls, New York, to get married. And apparently he even showed Mark a pair of wedding bands. Guys, I'm going to warn you, it's about to get a little crazy, and I will try to keep the rants in check, okay? Once the three of them arrived in Cloverdale, they checked into the Dollar Inn Motel with Mark in one room and Jessica and Jimmy in the other. Mark would later say that he heard a lot of noise coming from Jimmy and Jessica's room, and that at one point it sounded like a body was hitting the wall. Now, being concerned, Mark went and knocked on Jimmy's door, and instead of answering the door, Jimmy yelled out that he and Jessica were fine and they were just having rough sex. Okay, excuse me, Mark. I know we don't know each other. We've never met, and I try not to judge, and I try to be kind. But I have to ask, did you not find it strange that a 25-year-old man told you that the 14-year-old girl was pregnant and that they were getting married, and that you heard disturbing sounds coming from their hotel room? And when he told you they were just having rough sex, you didn't flip your shit out and want to see and them open the door? Because you can't tell me that you thought Jessica was 18. I've seen her picture, and I can tell you she does not look old enough to be having a baby or running off to get married to a 25-year-old man. Okay? And you left the door instead of making sure everything was okay in the room. He just screamed, "Hey, everything's great." I don't, Mark. I don't. Okay. Hello, 80s music man. Sorry, I'm trying not to rant too bad, but seriously. Now, when Mark woke up the morning of December 27th, 1995, he said that Jimmy and Jessica were gone along with his car, which he reported stolen. How did he have the keys? I don't know. I couldn't find. Now, December 26th was the last confirmed sighting of Jessica. Later, law enforcement would find traces of Jimmy in Paris, Tennessee, which is about 300 miles from the hotel in Cloverdale, where he had gone to a pawn shop and pawned a wedding ring, which later they discovered belonged to his grandmother. Okay. Mark had reported his car stolen on December 27th, but for some unknown reason, it was not entered into the system as stolen for several weeks. Okay, we don't know why, but his car was later found all the way in Compton, California, which is over 2,000 miles from Cloverdale. That's a long drive. Police were able to find out that an unidentified Black man had dropped the car at a garage on January 6, 1996 for repairs. Now, if police had entered the car into the system right when it was stolen, police might have been able to react much sooner. While investigating Jessica's disappearance and the connection to Compton, detectives learned that during the spring of 1996, Jimmy had worked for a short period of time at a local Compton ice cream store, and witnesses reported seeing Jimmy with a girl. They couldn't confirm that it was Jessica, but they said she kind of looked like her. And to everyone's surprise, including mine, Jimmy returned back to Missouri in June of 1996, alone and without Jessica. He refused to work with the police, and he wound up meeting up with Anna, who he married. Guys, I have so many questions. How in the hell does a 25-year-old, maybe 26 at the time, who was last seen with a missing 14-year-old, not find himself arrested and his ass in jail? I mean, at a bare minimum, interfering with a minor in their parents' custody, crossing a state line with the minor without the parents' permission. Something, for God's sake. You can't tell me that there's not something you couldn't hold him on. Please tell me why. Now, Mary, who was Jessica's mom, denied that Jessica and Jimmy were in a relationship and said that due to medical reasons, which she wasn't going to share, she was absolutely sure that Jessica was not pregnant. Jessica's friends even told police that Jessica never mentioned having a boyfriend, much less anything about being involved with Jimmy. Police were finally able to question Jimmy in 2004. But since they had not Mirandized him, they were not able to use anything that he told them in their investigation, and they have not released what was said. Okay, really? Why didn't you Mirandize him? I know you probably thought he was going to clam up, but still, I'm not understanding how he's not. He was the last person seen with her. And you have an eyewitness, this Mark guy. How? I don't know. Now, Union Police Chief told Jessica's mom, Mary, that he believed Jimmy had killed Jessica, but he had no proof. And I have to say, Mr. Chief of Police, maybe you can't use the information directly to arrest him that he told you when you did Mirandize him, but you damn sure could have used that to go and try to find evidence that you could use. And once again, I ask, why the hell couldn't you charge him with transporting a minor across the state line? Because Mark told you that they went from Missouri to Indiana. That is taking a minor across state lines. There has to be something. If anybody in any of the chats knows why nothing was done, Teri needs to know, because I'm pissed. Guys, it's also been reported that Jimmy told several different people that he had murdered Jessica and that he had disposed of her body. Now, I couldn't find out if these people had ever called the cops and reported these or tips, or if they did it later. And we'll get to that. In November of 2005, police finally, formally, which means they Mirandized him, questioned Jimmy after they were able to extradite him back to the county on warrants for bad checks. So you could arrest him for bad checks, but you couldn't arrest him for taking a minor without their permission across state lines. And you even said she was pregnant by you, which is you admitting to having sex with an underage minor. I can't, people. I can't. We're supposed to protect children and hold people accountable. Now, when formally questioned, Jimmy denied killing Jessica. And he said that the last time he saw her was at a Hollywood hotel with a man named Capone. Okay, guys, he admitted to the police he took her across multiple state lines and saw her talking to a man. How did the FBI not jump in and get involved? I know, guys, y'all are all going, Teri, why are you ranting so much? I don't understand. I don't. And the hotel Jimmy said that he last saw Jessica at was actually just a vacant lot and was not, nor had it been a hotel. And the police said without any other evidence, they could not charge him in the disappearance of Jessica. So he got away with it. He didn't have to answer any questions. Didn't. And part of me wants to know why Mark wasn't charged. Why wasn't Mark charged with facilitating the crime of taking a minor across state lines and knowing somebody's having sex with a minor? I don't, people. I don't understand. In April of 2008, Jimmy shot and killed his wife, Anna, then turned the gun on himself. Thankfully, the couple's two small children had been dropped off at their babysitters and were not at home at the time of the murder-suicide. When that hit the news is when I'm wondering if people finally came forward to say what Jimmy had told them, because I couldn't find that they ever called in police tips. Because if they would have, along with Mark's statement, how could they not have done something? I don't know. Now, I want you guys to remember Jessica Ann Kinsey was a sweet 14-year-old who loved Mexican food. Same here, girl. Loved the movie Dirty Dancing. Same girl. And her dog, Max. I used to have a dog named Max, too. Sadly, Mary, Jessica's mom, passed away in late 2019, never knowing exactly what happened to her sweet girl or being able to say a proper goodbye. Jessica's brother, Jerry, still lives in Union and lives every day without knowing what happened to his sister. At the time of her disappearance, Jessica was 5'5", weighed about 140 pounds with brown hair and brown eyes. She does wear eyeglasses and has pierced ears. If you look at the photo, if you're watching on YouTube, TikTok, or Kick, that is an age-progressed photo that you see on the right-hand side. On the left-hand side is a picture of Jessica when she went missing. And I want y'all to look at that. Does that girl look 18? She does not. She does not look 18. I personally think the police failed Jessica, her mom, Mary, and her brother by not arresting Jimmy, because Jimmy took all of that to his death. But guys, if you have any information, if he told you anything else or you've heard something, even if you just think it's a rumor, okay, please contact the Union Police Department at 636-583-3700. Because guys, her brother still deserves to know what happened to her. He still needs to know, as well as the rest of his family. And if Jessica's no longer with us, I hope she was waiting with open arms for her mom, Mary, when she came to heaven. Sorry, guys, this case really got to me because I don't understand. I want to ask any of you, if you know of or if you have a loved one missing and are interested in having their story featured on an upcoming episode, or if you want to join us for a live interview, you can contact me at Teri@tcwtmedia.com, or you can contact us through any of our social media accounts, either True Crime and Wine Time or Teri True Crime. We are out there everywhere. So, next up, Jonathan Alan Hamby was 37 years old when he disappeared from Mishawaka, Indiana on February 26, 2017. I hope I didn't slaughter that. In the years leading up to his disappearance, Jonathan had faced struggles with substance abuse, and he had previous run ins with the law. But according to those who loved him, he had turned his life around. He had found religion and secured a job. However, after he stopped taking his prescribed medication for depression and anxiety, family members began to notice that he seemed to be struggling again. The last time friends and family heard from Jonathan was February 23rd, 2017. He told his parents he was going to go over to a friend's house and spend the night there. On February 26th, he was last seen leaving his home in Mishawaka. At the time, like I said, Jonathan was 37 years old. He would be 41 today. He was last seen wearing a red Indiana University t-shirt and jeans, and he may have been wearing a Carhartt jacket. He was driving a black 2006 BMW 530xi. His vehicle has also never been located. Jonathan's parents have said that there were no signs he was planning to leave the area. According to his father, Kevin, Jonathan took no clothes, no monies, and he's never accessed his bank account. Everything just went silent. Jonathan was known as a huge sports fan who loved Notre Dame and enjoyed playing basketball. His mother, Cordia, has spoken about the difficulties that she has seen and been through, especially during sports season. She said they used to watch all the games together and that she misses that special time with him deeply. Mishawaka police began investigating his disappearance, and at that time, there were no signs pointing exactly to a crime. Jonathan does remain missing along with this card. However, the homicide unit later took over the case. Guys, if you have any information in regards to the disappearance of Jonathan Alan Hamby, please contact the Elkhart Police Department at 574-295-2824. I do want to also mention, because we got a little confused when we were doing research on this case, that there is a Jonathan P. Hamby who was found deceased in August 2024 in Indianapolis, and that this is a different person than Jonathan Alan Hamby. Just very similar names. I couldn't find if there was any connection to them. Okay, I couldn't. I tried, but I couldn't. Now, guys, I want to ask you, please go to our Midday Missing Facebook page or any of my Teri True Crime social media pages and share the missing person posters for Jessica and Jonathan. They will be posted within the next hour after this stream. And guys, it sounds like it's a small thing, but I want you to trust me. It means a lot to the families. We hear from families who just say, thank you. It means so much. And guys, it just might help a tip come in that helps these families get the answers they deserve. Whew. I do want to thank you all for joining me today. If you're watching live, and also thank you if you're a part of the replay crew or listening on the podcast. It really means a lot to us here all at the Midday Missing team and to the families. Now, follow us on all of our other social media platforms at True Crime and Wine Time, or me, Teri True Crime, anywhere on social media. Be a part of the conversation. Keep up to date with what's going on. We're always posting crazy things. Llama does not have social media, but she is going to start recording some things and will pop up on our other social media platforms. So if you want to see Llama being crazy, you're going to want to join us. And guys, True Crime and Wine Time airs every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. And we will continue our deep dive into the case of Frozen Fear, the butcher baker of Alaska, Robert Hansen. Tomorrow night will be part 2. If you missed part 1 last night, you can find it on our YouTube playlist. And because this is an in-depth case and we wanted to be able to do justice to all of the victims, plus our wonderful llama went down a rabbit hole, we will be streaming live Tuesdays and in addition to our normal Thursday nights. And guys, we're probably going to have to add in a couple of Mondays as well. There is a lot to cover about this case. And we wanted to cover the case in depth and do justice for all of the victims and to let Alaska know, pardon my French, they fucked up. Okay? Just going to tell you, Alaska, you screwed the pooch. So go watch last night's part 1 and join us tomorrow for part 2 because there's going to be lots of rants. If you don't like cursey words, you might want to skip it then because there's going to be a lot of cursey words because it's insanity. Guys, you also want to go check out our merch shop at tcwtmedia.com. We just dropped some new cool stuff this past Sunday, and I have to tell you, there's some adorable stuff. The coffee cup of Poe and Llama and the Easter Bunny are just amazing. And guys, remember, if you're a Cozy Crew or Ride or Die member or higher, you get those sweet discounts. You can redeem however many times you want all month long, okay? The shop is open. And if you need your discount codes for the ones who get discounts, you can find them on the YouTube community page. Okay, guys, I do want to, again, thank you all for joining me. Thank you for watching later. It is really important to all of us and to me to help share these family stories because we do talk to a lot of families and we hear about the struggles they have with law enforcement, not doing what they should do, not helping out, not getting the resources that they need. So we like to give them a platform to help keep their loved one's story alive. Now, guys, until next time, stay safe, stay aware, but most importantly, if you see something, say something. Keeping silence, you are actually protecting the perpetrator. Okay? So do the right thing. If you see something, say something. Even if you think it's a rumor, if you hear it, tell it. And let's help these families bring their loved ones home. Okay, guys? Until next time, I will see you soon. Bye, guys.